Everything you know about the universe, the starlight in your eyes and the air you breathe, exists because of a set of infinite, unbreakable rules, a pact between Earth and the cosmos, the laws of the galaxy that created you and I. But can life exist without them? Somewhere out there. I'm Brooke Fleming. I'm a dreamer, a stargazer, looking for adventure, but most of all, I'm an explorer. Join me as I come face to face with the natural beauty of our planet and the cosmic questions from beyond. What is it about the sky? The window to the universe. The sky looks gorgeous today, bright, blue. Come on, we've all said it. For thousands of years, humans have looked up with their eyes full of wonder. All those questions, trying to understand its secrets. Every day, we discover more about the universe and our place within it. I'm fascinated by the stories of our evolution and how we came to be. Our place amongst the stars, what does the future hold, and how will it all end? From the incredible creatures living here on Earth to the possibility of life on other planets, I can't help but want to understand and discover more. The way we do this is through astronomy. This is based around the study of the stars, moons, the sun, planets, galaxies, gas, dust, and what we often call shooting stars. And space science goes way beyond that. From stellar, solar, galactic and extragalactic astronomy to satellite and space communications, space systems, space environment and space medicine, space plasma physics, orbital mechanics, astrodynamics, atmospheric planetary science and physical cosmology, astrobiology, astrochemistry and astrophysics, and let's not forget space travel and exploration. It's no wonder we understand so much more about our universe today and our understanding of our existence. Let's start from the beginning. There are 7.64 billion people on Earth today, and around 8.7 million different species of plants and animals in existence. Everywhere you look, our planet is teeming with life. Now, those are some incredible numbers, but what if I told you that there are more stars in our universe than there are grains of sand on planet Earth? Our sky is alive with up to 2 trillion galaxies and 300 billion stars in our galaxy alone. But there really is only one question that burns as bright as the stars. How did it all begin? We have a theory, and it's called the Big Bang. This is a term that's become familiar around the world and happened 13 billion years ago. But what actually is it? Well, it's an idea, a theory, where the observable universe started from a single unimaginable hot point, a precise moment at which a cosmic explosion took place at over 1,000 trillion degrees Celsius, instantly throwing out the ingredients for life, the matter and materials for the birth of the stars, the orbiting planets, and the spiraling galaxies. But what is so beautiful about this is that the space that you and I see up in the sky and the space that you and I move around in didn't even exist. The Big Bang stretched, forced and created the space it now lives and expands in. Stretched, forced, and created the space it now lives and expands in. Planet Earth, our home. But how did it form and where did it come from? Around 4.54 billion years ago, that's making it around 1/3 of the age of our known universe, Earth formed through a process we call accretion. This is where massive particles come together under the forces of nature and accumulate together. Their gravity then pulls in more matter to create an object, this object being the early evolution of planet Earth. But it didn't stop there. Over time, these particles continued to smash into each other, like a violent and turbulent storm, shaping and defining itself until ultimately finding its place within our solar system. From there, it began to cool and settle until it formed a solid surface, then allowing the presence of liquid water. At some point, a huge collision took place with a planet-sized body known as Theia. This is thought to have been what caused the creation of our orbiting moon. Mercury. It's the closest planet to our Sun. Then there's Venus, with 90 times the atmospheric pressure of Earth. Then there's Earth, which is our home planet. Mars, which is named after the Roman god of war. Jupiter, the fastest spinning planet. Then there's Saturn, which has 7 incredible rings. Uranus, which was the first one to be found using a telescope. And finally, Neptune, which is the furthest planet from the Sun. And that is the planets in our solar system. And this is the beginning of our story, the beginning of the possibility of life, the point of no return for the birth of you and I in terms of time to come. When we think of life, we think of ourselves, our families, being in love. But in fact, Earth itself is alive, and it gives us life. It's a constant evolving and complex living process. Us, humans, along with the millions of other species that thrive off every centimetre of our planet, from the mountains to the deepest of oceans. We're more, inhabitants and creations of stunning systematic processes that come together to give you the air you breathe. So, when did it start? Well, life is incredibly old and leads back way before the wonders of the dinosaurs, having had their existence 250 million years ago. Life stretches back much further than that, with the oldest known fossils to us being 3.5 billion years old, and that makes them 14 times the age of the oldest known dinosaurs. And that's not it. Fossils more than likely date back much further, with scientists and researchers believing that they found fossilized microbes dating back a staggering 3.7 billion years, and that is, in space-time, not long after Earth itself was formed. Rocks and fossils are the primary storytellers of our past, the climate, life itself, and major events that happened on the surface of Earth over millions of years. We know that each environment has a particular process that occurs within it and causes a specific type of sediment that's then deposited there. These sedimentary rocks tell us about the past depositional environments and give us clues on how Earth evolved, like deep oceans and rivers. Igneous rocks tell us about the past violent volcanic events and can be used to help age and give dates to certain periods of the past. Then, by understanding our past, it helps to understand the evolution of life and how it may exist elsewhere. Think of fossils as the remains of ancient life buried in rocks. Fossils can be teeth, shells, bones, leaf patterns, and even footprints. By studying this evidence, it reveals a snapshot of what our planet was like long before we got here. Fossils can also show how animals evolved over time and how they're related to each other. They provide clues that organisms from the past are not the same as those found on Earth today, so there must have been progression in their evolution to meet changing needs. And if that happens here on Earth, then maybe life has learnt to live in other conditions and evolve on other planets. Earth's history is really quite incredible. seems there's a burning desire for life to exist, and if the elements are there and the conditions are right, life will find a way. As we grow up, we begin to form ideas about light, like the world's either lighter or darker with day or night. But it's much more complex than that, and incredibly important. Our light travels to us from our closest star, the Sun, 150 million miles away at an unimaginable speed, about 186,000 miles per second. Light travels from one point to another, like how a torch works when reaching a new surface. Light's a type of energy, so it travels in waves. Think of a vibrating pattern or the way the ocean's surface ripples along. We call this electromagnetic energy. We also have the moon and the stars, and they're always there. Even in the daytime, their starlight crashes through our atmosphere, scatters, bends, and has been used for over 4,000 years to navigate the seas as it lights up the night sky. We know that a common feature of light is that it reflects off of things, like a mirror. This is how we see the world around us because of the sun. Humans are ambitious creatures, and it wasn't long before we had the light of fires, candles, and even an electric lamp to guide us. But ultimately, wherever the light comes from, it travels into our eyes to help us create the image that's there in front of us. Like how this camera uses the light in its lens to capture the moments that we choose to keep. Capture the moments that we choose to keep. When you see planet Earth from space, you notice that it looks incredibly blue. That's because the Earth's surface is covered by 70% water. These oceans are key to life on Earth, and without them, well, life as we know it would probably never exist. The air we breathe, the weather and the climate are all deeply connected to the oceans around us. Up to half of the oxygen produced by plants are produced within the oceans, and up to 50% of the carbon dioxide humans release into the atmosphere, including the burning of fossil fuels, is absorbed by the oceans. Think of our oceans as like a heartbeat. They balance and sustain our existence. They transport heat from the equator to the poles and help to regulate the climate and the weather patterns around us. Without this, life just wouldn't be the same. They act like a conveyor belt, moving around the Earth, keeping the process of life in motion, with a little help from the moon and its gravitational impact. When you look closer at the ocean, there's another colour that you'll see, and that is variations of green. This is what's called phytoplankton, and what I like to think of as the ocean's magic ingredient. It drifts along the surface and is often known as algae. Think of it as like what grass is to the land. This magic green stuff is a biological building block to life as we know it, simply because it can convert sunlight into organic matter. These single-celled organisms contain what's called chlorophyll, and this allows them to perform photosynthesis. This is a chemical reaction that takes place inside a plant, enabling it to produce food for the plant to survive. This process never stops. The algae, along with other microbes, are food for bacteria, and then their nutrients is returned to the oceans, this forming an integral microbial cycle. Small animals feed on the algae. They're then eaten by small fish, which are eaten by larger fish, and so the food chain continues to feed the largest life forms across all of Earth's oceans. So, you could say that without this tiny green magical ingredient, the giant blue whale would not exist. So the question I have is, can this process be happening right now somewhere else? Out there on another planet? Can this process be happening right now somewhere else? Out there on another planet? We know the 4 seasons here on Earth as summer, spring, autumn and winter, and we've evolved our lives to work in and around them. But what if on another planet, another species had evolved to have different seasons, if any at all? How would this affect the way they live, breathe and interact as a species? I can't help but wonder that there could be huge civilizations out there on incredible big planets. The seasons are governed here on Earth by the tilt of the Earth's axis. This means that throughout the year the sun's light and energy is focused on a different part of our planet, with the summertime meaning that the Earth's axis tilts the northern hemisphere towards the sun. All of this contributes to the conditions of the seasons that we've come to know. And without the tilt of Earth's axis, we wouldn't have seasons. And without seasons, well, the human race and all of the species of animals across the globe could look very different indeed. Just imagine the mighty dinosaurs could still be out there with other forms of life, just roaming worlds amongst the stars. Roaming worlds amongst the stars. When we look at the ingredients for life, beyond sunlight, food, energy sources and liquid water, for a planet to have a real chance to be habitable, it would need to hold further essential ingredients for the chemistry of life. These would include hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur and phosphorus. Now, planet Earth also sits in what we call the Goldilocks zone, this being not too close and getting too hot from the sun, but also not too far and getting too cold. Without that perfect positioning in our solar system, we may not have ever evolved at all. But with a possible 300 billion stars or more, and billions of planets, and the universe being in an abundance to these ingredients, this gives a real possibility to many other worlds out there, and maybe even a civilization like ours. There are still so many questions I have, but I know by understanding more about our own planet and its relationship to the universe, I'll understand more about our existence. As we continue to advance forwards and brilliant minds continue to develop, shape and drive technology that reaches further out into the cosmos with more precision and detail like never before, I know that we can find what we're looking for. And that, for me, is one of the greatest questions ever asked. Are we alone in the universe? Isn't Earth just incredible? It's hard to even begin to try and put into words the journey our planet has been on so far. The history is simply quite spectacular. From the early formation, then through billions of years of geological evolution, from devastating extinctions to frozen emptiness, from raging infernos to gigantic tsunamis. Earth tells a story of survival, with every catastrophic event leaving behind evidence of what happened. Today, we can look at Earth and see the scars it hides, the scars of the past, like stories from a book. Just imagine what it must have been like to stand and look up at the night sky on fire as asteroids rained down, and once again life on Earth would start a new beginning. But that's just it. Life would start again. No matter what Earth has been through, life would start again. And here we are, you and I, alive. Humans are an incredibly skilled and complex species. We've evolved to such an extent that we live for more than just instinct and survival, but for knowledge, enjoyment and aspiration. Researchers are led to believe that the journey of human evolution began between 5 and 8 million years ago, with humans today being the result of adaptations made to overcome various challenges. 4 of the most significant being the ability to live on land, also known as terrestrial living, the development of a large and intelligent brain, the characteristic to live in civilizations with cultures, and the physical adaptation from quadrupedal to bipedal. These challenges are a result of conditions and environments here on Earth and are what make humans so unique as a species. Now, let's say on another planet, another species had evolved to have a similar understanding of the universe and share the same superior knowledge that humans have. How would they, as a species, differ from the human race? It's amazing to think that there could be other civilizations out there that share the same questions about the universe as us, that have evolved so differently, just different environments and conditions that their planet possesses. There are so many factors that would contribute to the evolution of alien life, from the gravitational force to the food supply on their planet. But when looking at efficiency and ability, the human form seems to be extremely capable, with little flaws, so maybe alien life would be more like us than we think. There really are so many conditions that could contribute to the evolution of alien life, so I guess if we really want to know, we'll just have to hope that human knowledge itself can evolve to find us the answers. Out there in the silence of space, I believe the universe has the potential to support life beyond our planet. From the start of an active quest to seek extraterrestrial life in 1976, when Viking 1 and 2 landed on Mars, to this day we are yet to discover forms of life other than the 8.7 million species here on Earth. But with such a vast universe full of so many wonders, and around 100 billion planets in our galaxy alone, could it be that there is life unknown to us in forms we have never before seen? So who knows what we could one day discover, or perhaps what could discover us? Climate change is a term that's become well known around the world and refers to the alteration in climate patterns that's becoming an increasing problem, emphasised by the actions of humans as we enforce the steady decline of our planet through a heavy use of fossil fuels. 14% of greenhouse emissions are a result of transportation through cars, planes, buses and so on, with 20% of emissions being due to the production of electricity through coal, gas and oil-burning power plants. If we as a species do not step up to take responsibility and make changes, then our planet will become far from the perfect and habitable environment we know it to be. Weather will become extreme, from superstorms and floods to drought and deadly heat. And not only are we destroying the world for ourselves, but for every species across the globe, as we melt ice caps and proceed with deforestation, destroying habitat, putting species on the verge of extinction, while we destroy the world that we're supposed to share with them. Planet Earth is in the perfect position, and conditions are so precise to allow for the possibility of life. And if we're not careful, we will destroy it all. There are endless causes for the deterioration of planet Earth, such as deforestation, pollution, burning of fossil fuels, intensive agriculture, and so on. But there is one thing all these causes have in common. They come as a result of our actions. We as a species are destroying planet Earth. The results of our selfishness are devastating. Over 1 million species face extinction, our oceans are dying swamped with plastic. And if that's not already bad enough, the amount of plastic added to our polluted sea each year is thought to triple within the next 20 years, by which time it's thought the rising sea levels could be affecting around 1 billion people. We need to act now. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change have already shared their concern that the drastic results of climate change on our planet could be irreversible by just 2030. Our planet needs us to save it while we still can. As I lie here looking up at the sky, wondering about the stars, it's amazing to think how much of our solar system we've managed to explore. With space exploration being a constantly developing process, which has had many successes, from the first man on the moon in 1969 to the recent landing of the Perseverance rover on Mars. But space travel requires a huge amount of hard work in every way imaginable, from the sheer amount of time and fuel it takes to reach a destination, to the requirement for specially designed engines. On top of this, the conditions in space aren't naturally safe for humans, as it can cause issues with our muscles and bones, meaning that we require a specially designed spacesuit. Just planning and preparing for space travel requires a huge amount of organisation, time and cost to ensure safety and success. But as brilliant minds continue to work and find more efficient ways of space travel, and with the first tourist space travel trip due to take place as part of the Dear Moon project, who knows how accessible space travel could be to all of us in the future. possibility of life on other planets has been a wonder to the human race for many years, with NASA's exoplanet program working to discover what could possibly be out there. One area of discovery has been the possible presence of water on Mars. It's believed that hydrated minerals have been located on Mars, leading to the assumption that water must have been present on Mars at some point, if not now. This is a huge discovery in terms of extraterrestrial life, as water is a key ingredient to life itself. However, the salt concentration was extremely high, which does lower the possibilities, but doesn't necessarily rule them out. If we want to find life on other planets, whether it's there today or from the past, it's going to take a lot of time and plenty of hard work. But with the perseverance of so many people, who knows what we could discover in the future? Why is it that water is so important to us? Well, for you and I, without it, we simply would not be here. Every one of our cells and organs use water. In fact, it's said that the brain and heart are composed of 73% water, the lungs are about 83%, the skin contains 64% water, muscles and kidneys are 79%, even our bones are watery. Your entire body is made up of nearly 70% water. Without it, we wouldn't be able to hydrate or do things like regulate body temperature. But that's not it. Water is a key ingredient for life, not just for humans. As far as we know, all living things here on Earth need water in one way or another. From the mightiest blue whale to the most minuscule and microscopic life, all organisms are built from the same 6 essential elemental ingredients: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus and sulfur. Liquid water is an essential requirement for life because it functions as a solvent. It is capable of dissolving many substances and enabling key chemical reactions in animal, plant and microbial cells. Its chemical and physical properties allow it to dissolve more substances than most other liquids. Quite simply, without it, we would not be here. Maybe these behaviours and processes are the same on other planets, out there in the incredible universe. The ingredients for life really are everywhere we look. The cosmos is literally filled with them. All it takes is the right chemistry and conditions, and it seems life will just come into existence. I find it just mesmerising how life can just become. But maybe we don't have to understand fully. Maybe it just is what it is. And the gift of life is something we should never take for granted. I hope so. I hope that there's life out there, maybe not like us, maybe something different. But it's hard to imagine it's just us in a giant cosmic chemical reaction that is full of all of life's building blocks. Maybe someone else is looking up at their sky right now, asking questions just like you. I hope one day we'll find out. So that's why finding and exploring liquid water on other planets is so important. It's our first step in potentially finding life. Planet Earth has evolved in many ways since its creation 4.5 billion years ago. After things cooled down, simple organic molecules began to form under a blanket of hydrogen. Some scientists think that these molecules eventually linked up to form RNA, a molecule that's essential for life. Forming the right distance from the Sun, planet Earth is protected from harmful solar radiation by its magnetic field and is kept warm by an insulating atmosphere, as well as having the right chemical ingredients for life, including water and carbon. It seems the potential for the emergence of life on planet Earth was set almost as soon as our planet was created. Human evolution is the lengthy process of change by which people originated from ape-like ancestors. Scientific evidence shows that physical and behavioural traits shared by all people originated from ape-like ancestors and evolved over a period of approximately 6 million years. Humans have made incredible advancements. The rise of civilizations and technological advancements means it's now possible to travel into space. But how far are we actually able to go? With our Sun being the nearest star, even if we had the protective technology to reach it, according to NASA, it's estimated that it would require around 55 times the amount of energy needed to reach Mars. For now, the focus seems to be manning another mission to the Moon, and maybe even Mars, our nearest planet, which is 33.9 million miles away. There have been a few hopeful finds, but for now, humans are yet to find a planet replicable to Earth with a guarantee of life. So while NASA's exoplanet program persists in their search, who knows what we one day might find. Could humans ever live on another planet than Earth? Currently, it is actually possible to live in space. Perhaps not quite how we would imagine it, but on board the International Space Station, up to 6 people can live and work at once. However, many believe that with the deterioration of planet Earth, humans will have no choice but to colonise on an alternative planet in the future. But is this even possible? Due to the fact that there's currently no planet possessing the same or similar conditions as Earth, or at least not that we've discovered, the natural environment of another planet would not be safe to humans. However, there is a way we could overcome this through a process known as terraforming. Terraforming is currently a hypothetical idea that would involve the modification of a planet to create more Earth-like conditions, therefore providing us with a new and safe environment for the human race. Although this seems like the perfect solution, it would require masses of time, research and resources. So for now, we should concentrate on protecting and preserving the planet that we already have. So humans may have made huge advances during our time here on Earth, but have we gone too far? Now our modern lifestyle is starting to harm our home planet. The ocean and air is being polluted, while habitats are being destroyed, and we have to make changes now if we stand any hope of reversing the damage we've done. Although scientists talk of living on other planets, this is, at the moment, something that requires much more research and technology. When talking of living on another planet, an example commonly given is Mars, as it's the closest planet to us. But it would not be possible without hypothetical processes such as terraforming. Mars does not naturally have the atmosphere or conditions to support human life, nor does any other planet we know of. So, for now, we have to look after the planet we have, as living elsewhere is not yet possible. Our universe is a vast and constantly expanding space, so perhaps there could be a second option out there. But even if there was, how would we find it, and would we have the technology to reach it, let alone recolonise there? As we grow up, we interact and form relationships of various kinds with other people, providing us with both positive and negative experiences. This is vital for our development and has benefits to both our mental and physical health. But what about human interaction with other species? We've evolved to have a characteristic within our culture that's led us to keep pets, creating a mutual symbiotic relationship where both species benefit, as it provides enrichment into our lives while we support and show our affection with a range of species within our home. Mutual symbiotic relationships even exist in the wild, with a common example being the sloth and sloth moth. But what about human interaction with the more wild side of nature? Well, it's important that we value the other species in the globe, as they support a vast array of ecosystems. But how do we as humans connect to these species? We've become heavily responsible for the condition of the planet in both good and bad ways. We've caused many extinctions and destroyed multiple habitats, but we've also worked to conserve and protect many animals and plants. Ultimately, it seems as society develops, we become more respectful and gained a better understanding as we reach a point of realization for the importance of the incredible creatures that inhabit our Earth. The link between humans and animals goes back thousands of years, with the first domestication of animals thought to be sheep and goats. The first examples of animals being kept as pets is debated, with some thinking dogs were domesticated from wolves between 33 and 11,000 years ago, and it's thought that cats were first domesticated around 7,500 years ago. An emotional attachment then grew as humans started to care for these animals in their times of need. These relationships between humans and animals took thousands of years to develop and initially grew from need, with dogs likely supporting hunts. So, how would our relationship develop if we were ever to encounter a species from outside of our world? Would we nurture and care for others, or approach with caution? Scientists are striving to find examples of life on other planets, but what will happen when and if we ever do? With the extinction of many species on Earth being caused by humans, maybe the question we should be asking is how would any intelligent species beyond our planet view us? The end of the universe. It's a pretty dramatic sounding statement, but many scientists believe that this could one day be the reality. Although this is not something we currently need to worry about, how will it happen? Well, scientists have many theories, with one of the most popular being the idea that our universe will face heat death due to its constant expansion and the result that this has on matter, radiation and vacuum in accordance with dark energy. Our universe really is an incredible and undescribable place, packed full of wonders, including our very own solar system and home planet Earth. Imagine a vast emptiness. No Earth, no planets, no solar system, nothing. All life gone, just silence. And stillness, and darkness. All memories erased, all life eradicated, all happiness and suffering over. Would Earth's journey have been a wasted one? What would the lasting legacy be if Earth were to end today? Would life on Earth be a success story, with its incredible variety of life-supporting habitats filled with thousands of different species, or would its decline be one you wish to rewrite with a different ending? So the end of the universe may be an inevitable fate so far into the future it's not something we need to concern ourselves with. The end of our planet due to its deterioration from climate change due to our actions is something that we're already beginning to see the results of. So maybe we don't need to be fearing the end of the universe, but perhaps making changes to save our home. So although the end of the universe may be an inevitable fate, the deterioration of planet Earth due to climate change coming as a result of our actions is something that we should be working to prevent. Planet Earth is truly amazing. The delicate balance of life-sustaining conditions is not known to us anywhere else. Over millions of years, our planet has evolved ecosystems and sustained life. Evolutionary adaptations have occurred in response to the natural development of the planet. But now, species cannot adapt fast enough to the pressures we are putting on them through modern life. We need to protect this delicate balance of life. As we move beyond our home planet out into worlds beyond our own, the beauty of the stars and the universe needs to be equally respected. We need to ensure that if we do somehow manage to live amongst the stars, we do so with the appreciation of natural powers of the universe, and don't make the same mistakes that we made with planet Earth.